Hello and good day. This is Corey from the BachScholar YouTube channel. I hope you are having a good day, and I thank you for visiting this video. This video is called The Biggest Error Made by Pianists. First of all, I just want to tell you a little about myself if you don't know this. I am the operator of the BachScholar YouTube channel, which has pretty soon we'll have 100,000 subscribers, and there are over 1,100 videos. I forget exactly how many, but there are over 1,100, and there are 50, I think going on about 50 million views. And I have been making YouTube videos now for over 10 years. I have 35 years piano teaching experience. And if you are interested in learning piano from me, I would highly suggest going to the Well-Rounded Pianist at wellroundedpianist.com. This is what the website currently looks like. It seems like it's always changing, but this is what it looks like now in February of 2019 as I make this video. I'm a very experienced piano teacher. I love teaching piano. I love teaching beginners especially, and I love spreading my knowledge throughout the world. By the way, I have I am the author of the world's #1 sight reading system, which many of you might be familiar with. If you want to learn piano from me in a very relaxed setting with now currently over 1,500 videos as I speak, I'd love to have you become a member of the Well-Rounded Pianist. I welcome you to that. Also, check out the BachScholar website at BachScholar.com. Now let's go on to the topic of this video. You know, I've been teaching piano for a long time, and it's really come to my attention over the last few years. You know, I didn't notice this like 20 years ago or even 15 years ago or perhaps even 10 years ago. I don't know. It's just sort of crept up on me over these years. I've noticed something. I've noticed something I didn't notice before. And that's one of the things I love about teaching music and analyzing music and analyzing pianists and the way they play piano is that I'm always discovering new things. And I've discovered, well, yeah, I'm sure other piano teachers and other piano professors know this already and perhaps discovered it. But you know, over the past few years, it's really sometimes I actually lose sleep over it because it's a problem that's been bothering me for a long time, especially with beginning students and also with advanced students. There are, I've noticed, even advanced professional pianists on YouTube that violate this error, the biggest error made by pianists, not knowing it. It's violated by pianists who are self-taught, especially. Self-taught pianists break this rule all the time. Beginners need to fight against doing this. Before I tell you what this is, I know you're in suspense. You're probably wondering what this big error is. Let me just, one more thing before I get into it. When I play piano, you know, I have over 1,100 videos on my BachScholar YouTube channel. One of the biggest compliments I get from people in comments or email me or I'll hear from somebody who comments about my playing is they very often will say, "You make it look so easy. You make it look so easy. You're just floating along the keys and it looks so simple when you play it, but when I try it, it's hard." That's actually a big compliment. I love it when I get that compliment. I try very hard to make things look easy. I didn't do this overnight. It didn't happen by itself, but it happens by hard work and knowing how to use your apparatus, your fingers and your hands. And on that note here, just go to the BachScholar website here, BachScholar.com. I think it's actually www.BachScholar.com. Go under Articles and click on Economy of Motion. I highly recommend you to read my Economy of Motion article. This sums up pretty much everything that I'm going to tell you today and more. But what I'm going to go over today is the one error. If I had to make a list of the 10 most egregious errors committed by pianists, piano students, beginners, up through the advanced level, I would have a list of 10 things. If I had to narrow that down to one thing, just one particular thing, which is hard to do, this is what it would be. Now, you see this picture in front of me. This is from Udemy, by now a very, very large company. And I took this picture because I always ran into this picture on the internet, especially Facebook. When I was on Facebook, I would always run into this advertisement by Udemy. Let's see what they say here. Learn piano in weeks, not years. Well, that's a lie right there. Play by ear and learn to read music, pop, blues, jazz, ballads, improvisation, classical. Oh, they make it look so easy, but it's not. Okay, so forth and so on. They're entitled to brag a little about their teaching and so forth. But what really gets me, it's not so much what they're saying here, learn piano in weeks, not years, but it's really the picture. Do you see what's wrong in the picture? Do you see? If you're a piano teacher, if you are an experienced piano teacher, you probably will see it. You'll probably notice what's wrong. But most people don't know. The common person doesn't know what's wrong. Well, it doesn't have to do with all these colors up here. The red and the green and all that. No, it doesn't have to do with that. It has to do with his hands, the person's hands here. Now, this is the biggest error in piano playing. Look at the thumbs. Do you see the left thumb here and the right thumb here? Look very carefully at the thumbs. See where the thumbs are? They're hanging off the ends of the white keys. That is the biggest error in piano playing, bar none. If I had to narrow down the list to one thing, this is what it would be. If you can solve this and not make this error in your playing and practicing, you will automatically improve your playing tremendously. Especially with beginners. Beginners really have to fight against doing this. This is a very, very common problem that I see. In fact, there's a very prominent YouTube pianist who, just like me, and makes a lot of videos, teaching videos and performing videos, and I think he's pretty much self-taught. I don't want to name names, but he violates this error all the time. This person's playing looks very labored, and if they would just correct it, it would not look labored as much. The reason why when I play the piano I make it look so easy, as people, when they give me that compliment, is that I try very hard not to do this. Maybe every now and then I might do it accidentally or something, but I try not to hang my thumbs off the edge of the white keys. Now, why is that bad? Well, first of all, it creates a bad posture with your hands. You can't see this pianist's wrists down here, down at the bottom. But if you were to see his wrist, the wrist, I'm sure, would be hanging down rather than being in the correct position of being up a little bit. That is the first problem that's created by putting your thumb here at the end of the white key. The other problem, and perhaps the biggest problem of all that it creates, is the thumb is so far away from the black keys, like the black key right here, that if, for example, if on the next chord or a next note, if one of the thumbs here has to play a black key, the left thumb maybe perhaps has to go up here and play the C sharp, or the left thumb here has to go up and maybe play either this E flat or this E flat or this D flat here. That creates problems because look how far away the thumbs are from the black keys. They're very far away. That creates a lot of problems. I've received emails from people concerned with the fact that they can never play their thumb on black keys. It's hard for them. Well, this is why. This is why you have a hard time playing your thumb on black keys. Because when you play it on white keys, it's so far away. That's like a good 2 or 3 inches away from the black key. That is a huge, huge error. If you can just correct this, then you'll solve pretty much 60% of the problems right there with your technical problems at the piano. Now I am going to go to my piano. I am going to switch my camera view, and I'm going to demonstrate for you with my piano and with my own hands and fingers, and I'm going to show you why this is such a big error, and I'm going to show you how you can fix this error. Okay, so here I am at my piano. I actually printed out this picture from the Udemy website that I showed you previously, and I have some tools here. I have a ruler, we'll get into that in a minute, ruler with some inches and centimeters on it. And I did some conversions here because I use inches of course I'm from America, we use inches, but I converted this to centimeters. So when I start talking about inches, I'll tell you the centimeters for those in Europe and other parts of the world. Now I am going to play this chord. I'm going to play this chord here that this person is playing on the Udemy ad. By the way, this is really funny because if this were, say, a Nike shoe ad, would they ever show somebody with Nike shoes hunched over with bad posture or maybe fat and out of shape? No, they wouldn't. They all, shoes, they want to show people who are fit, running with good posture. So this is really a terrible ad. I mean, for such a big company, they're showing somebody playing with just hideous looking technique here. That's not a good ad for a company of this stature, for a company of any stature, really. But I'm really appalled at this. This is just ridiculous. Okay, let me show you this. How this person is playing. Now, he's playing an E minor 7th chord. By the way, so I think it's a he. I'm assuming it's a he. So the thumb is like about right here. It's hanging right off the end of D. Very common, especially with beginners. 2 is here, 3 is here, 5 is... Okay, so he's playing an E minor 7th chord, which is about like that. Now, I know the video is hanging. In order for me to get the view right, I had to sort of cut off my wrist. But when my wrist actually, if you were to see my wrist is hanging down. My wrist is actually hanging down. Now, what happens if I do this? I'm going to scoot forward, so my thumb is about here. Then I'm going to go up. Go up, so the thumb is about at a 30-degree angle going upwards. It's not flat. Don't play it flat. go up so the thumb is at a 30-degree angle. Now I'm going to play, so the thumb, the optimal place for the thumb is about right here. Okay, it's not here. It's not too far in. Don't go too far in with your thumb. Just about right there. I wouldn't go any place past back here. So this person is playing here. You need to lift up with your wrist, bring the thumb at a 30-degree angle, and play it approximately midway between the end of the black key and here. About right here. Remember, I have to say this a million times to my students. 30-degree angle for your thumb. Do not play flat. That's another mistake. That's probably the number 2 error. But the number 1 error that I'm talking about today, the biggest error, is that you need to play your thumb in more, preferably or optimally about midway between here and here. Okay, there's a difference between this and that. This is strong. This is absolutely weak and sickly looking. You're not going to learn piano if you do this. Now the right hand, just to throw in the right hand, this person is playing an E with the 3rd finger. So they're like this. Okay? Their 3rd finger is even almost hanging off the edge of the white key right here. So they're situated here right at the ends of the keys, which is a very common problem with beginners. Okay? This needs to scoot forward as well. So the 3rd finger should be playing right about at least midway between here and here. Like this. And it should be up. It shouldn't be down. It should be up. So make sure the wrist is up and not down. Not too high. You don't want that. But you want the wrist just high enough. So the perfect position for this is this. It looks funny. I know it does, because your 3rd finger will be sticking out. I know that's obscene. That's not nice to stick your 3rd finger out like that, but you have to. And try not to curve it in like that, but just let it hang out like that. Now, you might be thinking, well, maybe this person has small hands and they can't do that. And they can only do this. Like a lot of pianists will use the excuse to where, oh, well, I have small hands, so I have to play at the end of the white keys. Well, that's just patently false. That's absolutely false. Okay, I have this ruler here. Now, I'm going to measure my length, the farthest I can stretch. Okay, so by the way, I do not have long fingers. I am 5 feet 7 inches tall. 5 feet 7 inches, that's not tall for a man. That's actually a little shorter than average. So my hands are not big. I actually have just average or even perhaps a little small hands. But through years and years of playing the piano, I've learned to stretch them out. So let's see. I do not have big hands or long fingers, but I'm just going to see what I can do. I'm putting this as straight as I can. The thumb here, the pinky here, and I'm going to measure that. That's 10 keys, actually. That's from right the beginning of G to right about almost to the end of B. Not quite. So I'm going to measure that in inches. That comes to just a little under 10 inches. No, I'm sorry. No, that comes to 9 inches, actually. Exactly 9 inches. So if I do that from the tip of my thumb to the tip of my pinky, that's 9 inches. 9 inches, by the way, 9 American inches is 22.86 centimeters. 22.86 centimeters. Now, of course, I would never do that in piano playing, but I'm just showing you what I can stretch, and I don't have long fingers. I just am able to do that because I'm flexible. So the first thing you want to do if you want to develop spider fingers is become flexible. And I actually forgot to mention this in my spider finger video that I have on YouTube, but this is a good exercise to do every day, just a little bit, just to stretch out. It's like doing the splits for gymnastics. You just want to do this a little bit each day just to make sure your thumb, your fifth finger can stretch out. Now, let's go to an octave. I'm going to go to G to G. Now, to play an octave, many students, well, okay, I'm gonna play like this Udemy person is playing. I'm going to play the octave with, and this is very common, I'm going to play the thumb at the end of the key and the fifth finger at the end of the key, sort of, so my hand is hanging off. Okay, now that is a really bad position, really bad. The only pianists who should do this are pianists with very small hands who absolutely cannot reach any further. But here's the thing, if you can do this, you can do that, because it's the same distance. There's no more distance. If you measure, okay, this is G to G. I'm going to measure G. Okay, to play an octave comfortably, that's exactly 7 inches. 7 inches is 17.78 centimeters. 17.78 centimeters. To play an octave comfortably. So I'm going to reach, just to test it here, I'm going to put the end of my thumb at the beginning here, and I'm going to put the end of the pinky right at 7 inches here. I'm going to keep it like that. Yes, exactly 7 inches. Okay, now I'm not going to expand it anymore. I'm just going to move it in. So the thumb is at the middle between here and here. And I'm just going to tilt it upwards about 30 degrees. You're going to tilt it up, and you're going to play that. That is the best way to play an octave. That is the optimal position for playing an octave. Not that. Okay? I have had students who have claimed, when I tell them, try to play your octave here, and they'll say, well, I can't reach it. Well, yes, you can. It's an illusion. If you can reach this, you can reach this. It's no harder. It's no harder. All you have to do is just straddle this key and this key a little bit. But you don't have to reach any more than 7 inches. So just to test yourself, see how far you can reach. I can reach 9 inches at the maximum. 9 inches at the maximum. All I need for an octave is 7 inches. It's a lot smaller. So when I play an octave, it's very easy. There's no problem at all for an octave. Octaves are neglected by pianists. I highly recommend practicing octaves. And it's the same distance as this. So if you can do this, which is bad and wrong, you can do this, which is excellent. So practice getting your octaves playing at about a 30-degree angle with your thumb and playing up a little bit with your wrist. And you'll experience immediate results playing octaves. I want to explain to you about the thumb reaching black keys. This is very important. So let's say I'm playing an octave like this, the wrong way. Then I have to play an F-sharp octave here. Well, look at how far this has to travel. That's a long ways. And that's very common. I see this a lot, where the student will play an octave, and then an octave. So they have to go way back to do the white key, have to go way forward to get the black key, then you go way back again to do the white key. Now, what about this? if you have consecutive octaves, play the thumb here, play the thumb there, and play the thumb here. So your thumb is going from here to here to here. That is the most economical way to use your thumb. You don't want it here. Don't do this. Of course, you wouldn't want to put your thumb there. So you want to go from, try to put your thumb here, the tip of your thumb there. Then your thumb goes here. Then you just go back just a little tiny bit to there. So what I would suggest to practice is to do chromatic scales with octaves and keep your eye on your thumb. Okay, so make sure your thumb is always about there when it's on the white keys. Compare that to this. Now, what I just did is absolutely terrible technique. Terrible. Now, compare that with, you see a difference? Huge, huge difference. This is why I make things look so easy when I play the piano, because I'm always trying to be conscious of where I'm putting my thumb. You know, always conscious of where I'm putting my thumb. Maybe occasionally if I have a very long reach, if I have like a tenth or something, you know, if I have to play E to G and I don't want to break it, yeah, okay, I'll play at the end of the white keys because I have to. But octaves, even octaves with another note in it there, I try to always play the thumb at least midway between here and here. That's how I make it look so easy when I play things, because this looks very hard and labored. This looks effortless and very easy to do. And of course the same applies to the left hand. You know, you can practice also, you know, make sure the left thumb is about there on the white keys, and try to avoid at all costs the thumbs at the end of the white keys. This problem is so pervasive. It is so pervasive, you know, and I didn't even notice it 20 or perhaps even 10 years ago, as I mentioned earlier. But, you know, it's really come to my attention over the past few years, especially since I've been teaching a record number of students, and I've started to notice this trend among piano students, even among, you know, advanced pianists and pianists who really should know better. I still see them playing their thumbs at the end of white keys. So if there is one thing, keep the thumb away from the end of the white keys, and your piano playing, your technique, I'll also keep it up about 30 degrees. Your piano technique will improve tremendously, and you will play much more effortlessly if you take this into consideration and really watch your thumbs. The thumbs are the anchors of the hands. So if your thumb is in the proper position, your other fingers will almost automatically fall into the proper places. If your thumbs are in the improper positions, if your thumbs are not optimally placed, your other fingers will not be optimally placed either. So it all comes down to where you're putting your thumbs. Your thumbs are the anchors of the hand. Always be conscious of where your thumbs are. Don't play them at the tips of the white keys anymore. Really take this into consideration. Look at this picture from Udemy, study it, and you know, I think it will be clear to you why it is such a terrible advertisement, why a company should never even do such an ad, because it's terrible. It's a terrible position. It's bad posture. It is not optimal position at all. And I think you should study this, look at it, sleep on it for a while, and in your piano practice, do at all costs try to avoid your thumbs at the end of the white keys. Also get a ruler, either inches if you're in America, centimeters if you're in other parts of the world, and try to measure the farthest you can reach. Do this exercise every day, and then if you have problems with octaves, all you need for an octave is 7 inches or 17.78 centimeters. That's all you need for an octave. That's not very far. Actually, most people can probably reach 7 inches. As I said, I don't have long fingers or a big hand, and I have no problem doing 7 inches. 9 inches is the most I can do. Okay, so I hope you got something out of this video, and I really do hope that this improves your piano playing. In order to help you out more, simply go to the wellroundedpianist.com. You can learn from the many hundred videos that are on there. Thank you, and until next time.